Welcome in, guys. I am sitting here with former Bellator world champion Pat Curran. Thank you for having us in your home, Pat.
Hi. Thank you for coming.
This is not the first time I've interviewed you.
No.
I interviewed you, if you remember, after you beat the brakes off of Joe Warren, and that was, I want to say, Hammond, Indiana?
Yes, it was.
Yes, and you blasted through him. That was like one of the top finish highlights in MMA history. Since then, a lot has gone on. One of the big things for you in your life is you're a father.
I am. Yeah.
So,
my first kid.
Yeah, congratulations first off, Lucas, obviously. And what has it been like being a father? And what is different now that you're in a training camp and you're doing it with a boy?
Yeah, man. First off, it's a huge blessing to have a son or a kid in general. I love him very much. Wouldn't have it any other way, and I completely changed my whole perspective on life, and just my life in general changed completely. You know, I'm not the priority. You know, everything I decide to do, everything that I plan out is intended for him first. You know, he comes first. He's the main priority. You know, so leading into this training camp, it's you know, it's slightly different. You know, because everything you know, throughout the day I have to take care of him. If I'm watching him, you know, he always comes first, so I have to plan and schedule around, you know, time with him. Mm-hmm. And you know, on top of that, sleep schedule. You know, so I'm not sleeping as much, breaking up throughout the night.
Sure,
but, you know,
sure.
He is only a year. He's starting to sleep a little bit longer now, but up to that point, he'd wake up 2-3 times throughout the night. So you sleep 2-3 hours, and you gotta wake up and feed him. So, yeah, that's the one problem, but that's something your body just kind of gets used to over time, and you know, it's not too much of a problem right now. But those are the changes that I'm dealing with having a son.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of fighters say that when they have a kid, it changes their perspective. They find a new hunger to go and compete, to go and provide a great life for their kid. Do you feel a different type of motivation?
Oh, 100%. 100%, you know, because now I have food to put on the table for him. Mm-hmm. You know, it's I either win or lose. You know, I'm just more motivated to make sure that I win this fight because I want him to have a successful life. Mm-hmm. You know, the more money I can bring in for him, the better future he's going to have. Mm-hmm. And you know, with this sport, you know, you can have a couple losses, and the next thing you know, you're non-existent anymore. You kind of just forgot. You know, they forget about you. So I want to make sure to win this fight. I have a lot of opportunity coming up in the next, you know, couple years with Bellator, and you know, I want to make sure his life is set. You know, that's my main motivation. So every time I go to the gym, you know, I was always a self-motivated person, but now I have a new motivation, newfound motivation. I'm still self-motivated, but now, you know, that's just added motivation on top of it. And I push myself a little bit harder. I'm taking my training even more serious than I was before. I mean, it's hard for me to really say that because I always take my training camps extremely serious. But with him in mind, I'm not cutting any corners, and I'm you know, really strict with my diet. I'm running more. I'm just trying to get in the best physical shape for this fight.
People say fighting is a selfish pursuit. It's for the first time ever, it's not a selfish thing anymore for you.
No, definitely not. I mean, I am selfish in the sense where I do have to make it to the gym, so yeah. I do have to find a schedule where I'm training full time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm not selfish. You can't be selfish being a father, being a family man. So your family always has to come first. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple times in this training camp where I had to cancel my sessions because, you know, family issues came up and I needed to, you know, tend to those first over my training. Only a couple times, which I'm not too worried about, but you know, that's where, you know, you're not selfish anymore. You're not thinking about yourself. You got to think about, you know, your family. And,
of course.
And you know, always take care of their well-being first.
Of course. He looks like a healthy kid. He looks like a happy kid. Yeah, walking around your house, and Pat gave us an awesome tour when we first came in. I see these contraptions that you've made for Lucas. They're all over the place. Can you first just tell me what even inspired you to make any of these things for him?
You know, it's just me having fun. You know, my first kid, I was very excited, and I just wanted him to, you know, get the biggest jump start, you know, head start on life. And, you know, just making these little contractions, inventions, I was trying to help his development, speed up the development. You know, I was like, when he was, you know, 2 months old, just laying on his back, can't even roll over, you know, I'm like, all right, what can I do to help him, you know, speed up this process? So I ended up building like a little plate that connected to a cradle swing where he can put his feet on and then just slowly just start moving his feet, pushing up this plate. And then he realized, okay, if I move my foot, I'm actually swinging and moving this thing. So he just started getting the hang of it and started jumping off it and having a blast. And on top of that, it was giving me an extra 20, 30 minutes to, you know, do whatever I needed to do.
Reoccupy him?
Yeah, I'd put him in that thing
nice.
and, you know, he's fine for 30 minutes and then I come back and, you know, play with him and do something else. But overall, I mean, I want to say it kind of sped things up because, I mean, he's only a year old now, but he's fucking running around, climbing on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very far along for his age.
You're trying to breed a little athlete here. That's what I see.
Of course.
That's what I see. I see Pat making another little Pat Curran. That's what I see.
Man, of course. I mean, I have a lot of fun. I'm not pushing anything on him.
Yeah.
He loves doing everything that I'm doing with him, and I love it more. I don't want to say more than anybody. So I'm really enjoying it, having fun doing this. But yeah, you know, he's going to be an athlete. I want to say he's going to probably be just like me, and I just want to make sure that, you know, maybe he's going to be a better athlete. Maybe he's going to have more opportunities when he, you know, he's in high school, and maybe he gets a scholarship into, you know, a college, or, you know, I just want him to have more opportunities than I had when I was growing up. So.
Sure, I know. So when you were growing up, I know you started with lifting, like powerlifting, right? Was that your first? What type of athletics did you start with? Because obviously you're an athlete and a half. I'm sure it's a genetic thing, but how did you develop that? I've trained with Pat, and your lower body strength for a 145-pound fighter, I've never seen something like that. The how fast you are and how you move. When did you start build? Of course, when did you start building that that foundation?
You know, I was always involved with sports growing up, football, baseball. But when I found wrestling, that kind of, you know, separated me from everything else. You know, I just fell in love with it, and, you know, I only did it for a few years, but, you know, I learned so much from it. You know, just mental toughness, grinding. You know, just training it to the point of failure, but then still pushing yourself past that point of failure. You know, it really turned me into the person I am today. And other than that, I want to say that was mainly it. I did a little bit of powerlifting after wrestling season once I graduated high school. You know, I just got done cutting weight just like everybody else does. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to eat as much as I can, put on some weight, and try to gain some size. And yeah, I fell in love with lifting. You know, I didn't know what I was doing, but, you know, I was just going to the local LA Fitness and just,
right.
You know, just working out in the gym.
Right. And this was in Florida.
This was in Florida, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in Florida. You're lifting weights. You have a wrestling background already. When did you come to Illinois, and when did you start training in fist fighting?
So I was about 19. Actually, I got my first hands-on experience with this sport when I was 17, still in high school. I came up for a cousin's wedding, and yeah, I got trained at his gym a little bit and get some hands-on experience. Love it. I was a natural. And then a couple years after that, I ended up moving here when I was 19, just turned 20. So I'm 31 now. I've been here about 11 years, and yeah, that was my first, you know, introduction to MMA and training full time at about 20 years old.
Got you. 20 years old, you started training. You're saying like full time.
Mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial arts.
Jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, and then still wrestling at the same time.
By 24, you were a champ.
Yeah. I did it full time. I mean, I was in the gym twice a day. I lived that lifestyle, and it just consumed me. I fell in love with it. I was obsessed with it, you know.
Right.
Which I think any athlete needs to be, especially if you get to a certain level in your career. You have to be obsessed with it and love it, and I did. You know, I found that love for it at an early age, and I just wanted to see how good I can get, or how good I can be, and that was my motivation. I was like, I want to see how far I can take this. How quickly can I move up through the ranks? And, you know, I just stuck to the grind every day and just kept showing up to practice on time and made sure I didn't miss any practices.
So from 24, winning the title, now sitting here, you're 31. You've gone through many different title fights. You fought all the top guys at 155 and 145 in Bellator. So looking at your career, I wonder what is still looming out there for Pat Curran to accomplish in Bellator?
So what I'm thinking of, I mean, I'm a two-time former champion. Obviously, 3 times sounds better than 2 times.
Sure.
A little motivation.
Sure.
You know, and they have a Grand Prix coming up in the featherweight division. You know, that's my main focus right now. Besides AJ, I'm really 100% focused on this fight. But after that, the featherweight Grand Prix is for a total of $1 million. The winner gets $1 million total in fight bonuses and prizes. And I've already gone through 2 tournaments in Bellator in the past. I won both, one at 55 and one at 45. So I do have some experience in that sense. And again, I think 3 sounds better than 2.
Sure, $1 million sounds good too.
Yeah, that's my main motivation right there. You know, that can change my family's life forever. You know, if I invested in the right things and, you know, put aside a nice chunk of money for his future, maybe you know, put it into his college fund, and you know, he'll be set. So that's my motivation. You know, I want to get through this fight, move on to the tournament, win the tournament, and then, you know, make my decisions from there with what I want to do.
So this fight, you've got a serious, formidable challenge on your hands. You got a young kid. He's 24. So he's where we were just talking about where you were. He's there now. He's a young kid. He's 13-0. All of his fights have been in Bellator. So this means that AJ McKee has the longest win streak in Bellator. Have you watched his footage, and what do you make of him as a fighter and as an opponent for you?
Yep, I've seen him fight. I'm very impressed with his style, and he shows you know, he has a lot of potential underneath him right now. He's still young. That's the crazy thing. He's only 24. He's only going to get better. So, you know, Bellator brought him up the right way. They started out with easy opponents, and slowly, you know, as he kept winning, you know, the opponents got tougher and tougher, and now he's up to the point where he's fighting me, and you know, he's still undefeated. But you know, with an undefeated record, you know, you really can't really go off that, because he hasn't fought anybody, you know, with a big name and anybody that's actually really good. So
right.
It's tough to say. I mean, he is undefeated, but you know, with this fight, I really think the deciding factor is going to be experience, and I think we can all agree that's going to be, you know, what's going to separate us. You know, he's young, he's a little immature, I'm sure, as a fighter, and you know, he might rush things, he might not see certain things compared to if he has another 3-4 years under his belt. And you know, I have the experience, I have the patience. You know, I know what to look for. I know I'm gonna, you know, I'll try to find the right shots, and you know, I can tell if I'm down, it's close. You know, I'm just gonna rely on my experience, you know, leading into this fight.
AJ said that he is the Floyd Mayweather of MMA. What do you think?
I think people are feeding his ego. It's like any 24-year-old, you know, he's undefeated. I think you know, he probably does believe it, but you know, a lot of his coaches and his teammates are also feeding that ego too. So again, I was there. I was 24. I was at my prime, you know, back when I was 24, fighting for titles, and you know, I know your coach and team have a, you know, huge influence on you with that. You know, and you have to truly believe that too. You know, you can't just go in there thinking like, oh, well, I might be Mayweather, maybe I'm not. You know,
right.
You know, you truly have to believe that you're going to be the best fighter in the world, and I think he does. He does. He has that motivation.
Well, not only so me and Pat just listened to the media call, and unfortunately Pat was not able to be on the media call. He had left his phone at the gym.
Yeah.
So
I didn't have it for 2 days, and when I finally got back to it, I completely forgot about the conference call. I thought it was on Friday, and you know, my phone was just blowing up. I missed calls, messages. You know, everyone's wondering, are you okay? Is the fight still on? What's going on? You know, it just it kind of sucked, man. I was a little overwhelmed, and you know, I feel terrible about it, but it's just a mistake, you know.
Well, I was just getting actually what I just played you. So it was the first time you'd ever heard AJ going back and forth with Pitbull. And AJ said on that call, he said that I'm going to knock Curran out and I'm going to knock Pitbull out. So obviously this kid is extremely confident coming in here. You two do actually have one common opponent. And it's the last opponent that you've both faced, Teixeira. And it was your first fight back after your injury, and you dominated Teixeira. You took him down. You outstruck him in that fight. But AJ came out there and knocked him out. What did you make of that fight? And do you take anything away from seeing how he fought Teixeira?
You know, I want to say that with my fight with John, I kind of just broke him. You know, I did win by unanimous decision. I hit him hard with, you know, a good 3 or 4 shots that actually dropped him. and he was able to bounce right back up. But he was on a roll. He was on a win streak. He was, just had that momentum going with him. And I think after a loss against me, it kind of broke his spirit a little bit. And I want to say I kind of softened him up for AJ. So I think, AJ went in there and finished the job, and he looked extremely well. I'm not taking any credit away from him, but he just had great timing and landed that one big shot on the chin and dropped John. So, but yeah, I want to say, it starts. Your mindset as a fighter. You have to be motivated. You have to be, you have to be hungry. You have to have that drive, and that all changes after a loss.
Sure.
Some guys bounce right back. Some guys don't. And I think John didn't really bounce back after that.
Mentally,
loss. Yeah,
right?
Mentally after that.
Of course. So, big fight on a big card. You're in Chicago. So I first have to ask, when's the last time, so I know you fought at the Horseshoe, but that's actually still over in Indiana. When's the last time you fought in the Crystal Lake area like this? I mean, this is easy for everybody to get to. This might as well be your hometown backyard fight.
Yeah, man, it's been so long, dude, it's really hard to remember. I know I fought over the border in Hamden against Joe, but I want to say it was back here. I want to say it was in Strauss. I can't remember.
Okay,
man.
long time.
Yeah, long time. But yeah, I mean, most of my earlier career, my amateur and my early pros, it's all local. Everything was pretty much in McHenry area and the northwest suburbs of Chicago. So it's been, I'd say, since those days, it's 8 years.
Right, yeah. I remember actually I saw you fight at the, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Lakemore Banquet Facility.
Yeah.
I believe you fought when you were on the Tap Out show. You fought...
that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, okay, so a long time ago.
Yeah.
So here you are back fighting in your hometown. What's the experience been like preparing for this one with people actually buying tickets to come out to see you, all your friends and family coming out? Is there a different vibe?
Yeah, a little bit different, but I'm trying to not let that, ruin my focus. If you can start selling tickets and really start pushing tickets, I like to, but at the same time I don't, because it takes my focus away from training. So it is easy when you can just tell somebody go on Ticketmaster,
right,
use your promo code,
and just
Curran,
exactly,
and go buy the tickets that way.
That's
it's a lot easier.
Yeah,
a lot easier. So it just saves me the time, especially having a kid and the family life. It's hard for me to really get away and meet people and have people over, because my schedule is just either watching him or I'm at the gym or I'm taking care of stuff around the house. So it's rough in that sense, but. I used to like getting away. I did a couple training camps out of town, and I loved it because I was able to focus 100% on the fight. On my training, I had no distractions at all. This time around, I have some distractions, but they're good distractions. I'm able to put my time in the gym when I'm there, focus on what I need to focus on. Then when I'm back, I have time to relax and hang out with the family. So I found a good balance between the two. So I think that's going to help out a lot. I'm not overstressed. I'm not worried. I think about the fight and AJ when I'm at the gym. Then when I'm home, my son's taking most of my time, and it kind of moves my focus over to taking care of him. So I'm not completely obsessed about it. I'm not overthinking it. And for me, every fighter is different. But for me, if I start overthinking it, it could kind of not ruin me, but it will affect my overall game, I think. So I felt that in the past. Like if I'm overthinking about my opponent, I'm overthinking about the fight, it starts stressing me out. And the key to the fight game, especially any fighter, you want to be stress-free. You want no distraction. You want to just live a nice, easy life. Go through training camp with no injuries, no stress, no headaches, which is never the case. But you try to limit that as much as you can.
Right.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
You've obviously got the veteran experience over AJ, and that comes about with what you just said, that you know yourself and you know what you need to do in order to get your head in the right spot. With your head in the right spot and with everything behind you, you've chosen Valley Flow Striking this time around. Have you trained at Valley Flow previous to this camp, and is this the first time you've ever been there full time?
No, I did my last training camp against John Texeria. I was with Val.
Okay.
Those guys pretty much full time. But the only difference was, compared to my last fight, I was working a full-time job at the same time. Didn't have Lucas, he wasn't born yet. We were pregnant, we knew we were going to have a kid. But I was working typically 35 to 40 hours a week and then going to the gym at nights. and trying to run in the morning. So I was very limited with time during my last training camp. I didn't grapple as much as I wanted to. I didn't, train. I didn't train as much as I needed to, and the rest. I wasn't recovering as much because by the time I got home, it was around 10 o'clock at night. I had to be up at 5 in the morning to get ready for work. Just wasn't sleeping enough. So I think that's a big deciding factor between my last camp to this camp, is that I'm actually training full time for this fight. I'm at the gym as much as I need to be, and I'm pushing as hard as I need to be because I have enough time to recover when I'm home. And yeah, I want to say, back to your question, this is my second time with Val. I've worked with him in the past. I did my last training camp with him. This is my first time doing like a full training camp with him.
Right.
And all the guys over there. Love it. Incredible team. Great people. I really like Mike's approach to training and the overall camp that he puts together for his fighters, because he's pretty much watching out for our well-being. We're not doing any really hard sparring, just drilling, a lot of movement, just kind of positional type stuff, and then we spar when we need to, getting closer to the fight. And I absolutely love it over there. And I see my game progressing, getting better since I started working with him. And he's helping me develop my game by just pointing out a little bit of, fault, a little bit of problems here and there that I have, and just building off of my style that I already bring to the table.
So you're training very often, I know, with a Glory kickboxer out there who's a southpaw, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. And those rounds you've been getting it, obviously. And I also saw you at Midwest Training Center. You've done a little bit of training there. Obviously, you were training leading up to it, but are you 100% at Valley Flow for this camp? And who are your number one training partners that you've been going with day to day?
Yep, I'm 100% at Valflo. I was going to Midwest Training Center. Great group of guys over there as well. Very large team. But
huge team.
You got bodies, you can choose from anybody. Bigger
than Black Zillions?
Yeah, I want to say there's more bodies. Probably maybe the same, maybe a little bit more. But the guys come and go. It's kind of like a headquarters for all the gyms, all the fighters in Chicagoland, and everybody kind of meets there for the days that they need to train.
Right, so, exactly. They have a deep roster of amateur fighters too. And I know maybe at Black Zillions they had more pro fighters than MTC does, but MTC, they got 2 mat spaces. You work out in the other room, the wrestling room too. Yeah. It is unbelievable how packed that place gets. And the energy there is off the charts. You've trained with some high-level guys in your life. I mean, can you rattle off a quick list for me? I know you've trained with Frankie Edgar. You've trained with under Henry Hoof for a while.
Yep. Edson Barbosa was with the Frankie Edgar camp. All the guys over at Black Zillions. Start naming. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I mean, there's a lot of guys, a lot of high-level guys that are fighting in the UFC and Bellator. And, we have the potential of being the next champion. So do have a lot of experience in the cage, but also outside of the cage as well.
Do you take a lot of the things that Henry Hoof gave you and still employ those in your game?
I do. I was only there for one camp, but, a lot of his advice stuck with me. He gave me really good advice and kind of changed my game, my overall style to my game.
Okay.
Instead of being flat-footed and waiting, being a counter striker, he's like, dude, you look tired. You got to start bouncing, moving around on your feet.
Yeah.
Once you're standing still to the judges, you look tired, and you're a stationary target. Have a little more bounce in your step. Start moving around a little bit more. Anytime you throw a punch, take a half step back so you get out of the way of the counter strike. And that always stuck with me. So I'm always thinking that in the back of my head. And again, I thank Henry for that. That is really, really good advice, and I think any fighter should follow that as well. If you throw a shot, obviously you're in range to hit your opponent, but if you recoil and just stand there, he's in range to hit you too. So biggest thing is once you throw your shot, get back and then take a half step back so now you're out of the way. And that's what I've been doing ever since. Little bit of technique in the kicks and the punches, just turning my hips over, trying to get a little bit longer. But that was the main advice that I really took away from Henry.
When I first, so we trained on and off for a long time, but when you started, when you got this fight and you had a name, a face, you had a date and everything, we were training in River North, at UFC Gym River North, and we both got on a scale, and I have been about 20 pounds heavier than you for the whole time I've known you, but I got on the scale, I was 174, you were 176.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me too. I wasn't expecting that. I was like 70.
Okay.
This whole time I'm making fun of you. You're like, dude, you're bigger than us. It's not fair. You should be grappling with us right now. You're in a different weight class.
Yes.
And I'm the heavier
And
one.
here comes the you're heavier. Yeah, I was surprised as well. And you were 176 with a six pack. I mean, you weren't fat.
No, I had a little bit of meat on me, but yeah, I filled out. You know, I haven't fought over a year. I got injured,
right?
So I wasn't as active as I wanted to be, and having a kid,
yeah,
I think putting a little bit of the dad weight.
You had dad bod.
I had a dad bod going on.
Okay. Well, I will tell you that is the strongest dad bod that I've ever grappled with. But you cut from that to what are you walking around in right now? I shouldn't say you cut because you lost this weight.
I lost weight, yeah, and that's just changing up my diet, changing up my training, burning more calories, getting back into fight shape. So I'm waking up around 63, 62 right now. So I'm quite a bit lighter than I was.
You had to lose muscle, or is it all fat?
You lose a little bit of muscle, yeah, but it's mainly fat. So at this time right now, I'm trying to become as lean as possible.
Yeah.
Keep as much muscle mass as I can.
Yeah.
But I'm losing as much body fat as I can, trying to lean up. And then the last week and a half where I'm at right now, now I'm going to start shrinking down, losing a little bit of water weight, losing a little bit of muscle mass, and then it's all water weight from there. So at the end of this week, I see myself being around 160, maybe 58 to 60, which puts me in a really close range to making 45, and it's still going to be a few more days to make that weight.
So like 3 days out from weigh-ins, you're going to be 158?
3 days out, I'll probably be around 55 to 56, yeah.
Okay,
so
got you.
10 pounds, maybe 12 pounds.
Got you. And you don't start cutting water until then?
I start cutting water probably 3 days out.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm drinking water through this whole process. So 5 days out, I'll start with 2 gallons of water. I start water overloading. Then I taper down to 1, half, quarter, and then whatever I need to drink for the day of weigh-ins, if I drink anything at all.
Okay. So let's say we're here. It's Saturday night. You're standing across the cage from AJ. How do you see this fight unfolding?
It's a very common question guys ask. People ask us, and it's hard to say because you just can never expect unexpected. You don't know how he's going to come out, how he's going to approach it, but I'm stuck in my ways. I'm kind of like an old dog, I guess. I think I'm going to come out there and just be patient, look for my shots, and my guard's going to be high. I'm going to be waiting for any one of his go-to strikes that he likes to throw. I'm expecting everything. I'm expecting him to shoot in and try to take me down right from the get-go too. You never know what to expect.
Sure.
So you got to be ready for everything.
Sure.
I just want to say I'm going to be patient. Just look for my shot, look for my openings, and just feel him out to see what his reactions are going to be, what his offense is going to be, and how he's moving, how he's throwing his feints. That's kind of my approach to it. Just taking my time.
He did a recent interview, and correct me if I'm wrong, he said he was going to fight you the way he fought Justin Lawrence. Am I getting that name right?
Yep.
Okay, so
and this fight happened, I want to say 2-3 years ago, a couple years ago.
So that would be opposed to what we're usually seeing from AJ, because what I've seen him do is just unload hard head kicks and some wild stuff that he likes to go for. He's kind of hot on the trigger. What type of finish do you see against AJ? Are you going to knock him out? Are you going to tap him out?
Well, of course, I'm always looking for that knockout shot, and I want to say I have the power behind my punch now. I started this camp a little bit heavier, with a little more muscle mass, so I'm going to have a heavier punch behind my strikes now. But I'm never expecting the knockout shot. You can't really expect it. It's one of those shots that just happen. Every one of my knockouts that I've had, you just don't see it happening until the guy's on the ground, and then you have to react to it.
Right.
So it's not like I have this one combo or
that's ready to go.
Combos that I'm gonna just hit him with. It's just you just got to be ready for anything. I'm ready to go 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to make sure my conditioning is ready for a 15-minute fight against him, and that's kind of how I approach the fight. I'm looking for the knockout, but of course I'm ready to go 15 minutes.
You look in shape. How you feel?
Feel incredible.
Feel good?
Amazing, yes.
Nice, man.
I still got it. I
Okay.
keep saying that to everybody. I still got it.
You're only 31.
31, yep.
You feel like you're in your prime?
Of course. I think I'm just going into my prime. My body's a little weathered. You know, I have injuries, but you know the injuries help me to understand my body a little bit more and how to approach my training differently and how to take care of myself better. And you know, it's only been you know, an uphill battle, or sorry, I'm just climbing the ladder from here. I'm getting better and better, you know, every time I take another training camp, because I further understand my body. I know my limitations. I know what I'm good at, and I just keep trying to build at what I'm good at.
With a big win next Saturday night, you want to wait for this featherweight tournament? Does Pat Curran fight again?
Oh yeah, of course. The featherweight, the Grand Prix.
I'm saying, are you going to fight before the Grand Prix?
Oh,
or are you going to wait for this Grand
not,
Prix?
Because now the Grand Prix starts in October, so that would be 5 months after this fight.
That'd be good timing for you.
Yeah, I'd rather just kind of enjoy this, you know, get through it, take care of a couple things that I need to take care of at the house. I bought a fixer-upper, so I need the time to do it during the summer to make a couple, you know, fixes and upgrades around here. Gives me enough time to spend with the family, relax, enjoy it, and then kind of move right back into another training camp. So I won't feel rushed. I won't have to, you know, just jump or dive right back into training. I feel like that would be a quick way for me to get burnt out. So I want to avoid that. I need to have a separation between the two. It's really good for the mind and the body, and I enjoy the rest after the fight. So 5 months after the May 11th fight gives me more than enough time to recoup, recover, get my mind, you know, right in the right place again, and then jump right back into a training camp. But at the same time, I'm not going to let myself completely go. You know, I'm going to try to maintain what I have, stay in decent shape, and then, you know, hit camp when I need to start training.
Fighters, people talk about ring rust all the time, and you look great in your last fight, and that was the longest layoff you've ever had. This is the second longest layoff you've ever had. So, is ring rust a factor, or is it a positive heading into this fight that you've had time off?
Yeah, it kind of worked for me in my last fight. You know, I took some time off, and I came back, you know, right where I left off. You know, I could always perform better, and I think that's just me as an athlete, and that's what I'm constantly telling myself. I can always do better, and I think that's why I'm able to get to a certain point in my career, because I'm never satisfied. I can always improve in certain areas. So I was happy with my performance. Of course, I won the fight, but at the same time, I wasn't happy because I felt like I could have done a little bit better.
Sure.
But yeah, man, I'm just excited, and you know, I think just more motivated than anything. I think the ring rust won't be an issue, dude. I think I'm just going to pick up right where I left off. If not, I should be even better, because now I have a full training camp leading up to this fight.
Thank you so much for inviting us in your beautiful home here. I know you've lived in the Crystal Lake area a long time. Since you've come to Illinois, right? Since you came from Florida when you said you were 17?
Yeah, I kind of jumped. Yeah, 17. Took my first trip here. Then I was 20 when I actually moved here. But I kind of was all over the McHenry area: Crystal Lake, Woodstock, Cary, Island Lake, Lake in the Hills, Elgin. So yeah, I've been kind of all in the surrounding towns around Crystal Lake.
You moved into this house recently?
Yeah, about just over a year ago.
So
last December.
It's a very dark subject to touch on, but there was a murder recently was it your neighborhood?
Yeah, it was just a few streets over, right down the road from here.
And it was the murder of a young boy. Do you know the age?
He was 5 years old. I forgot his last name, but his first name was AJ.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing that happened, and we really can't believe it happened. We were following it every day, looking around, and you know, maybe hoping that we find him. You know, he's kind of hiding, or who knows where he's at.
Sure.
But yeah, it's very tragic, and we just can't believe that the parents would do something like that. You know, I remember a couple of days after it happening, I'm out on my run on a bike trail, and not too far away from here, and I just remember seeing the police motorcycles just driving up and down the bike path, searching for him, just anywhere they can find, anywhere they can see, and they're stopping, pulling over every other car, searching the vehicles. You know, they're walking around the neighborhood. The helicopters are flying over the house, and that was going on all week. And eventually, the kids' parents confessed, and you know, they admitted that they killed him. You know, I don't even want to talk about it. Really, it's really upsetting. Not me being a father for myself, and knowing that I have a kid, and I can never imagine, I can't imagine anybody doing that, but there's no way in hell I do that to my son, you know. Especially a 5-year-old, the kid doesn't know any better. He just, you know, looks up to his parents, and you know, it's very tragic that, you know, the parents treated him the way they did, and I really hope that, you know, no kid goes through that. It's really sad, really, really sad.
Yeah, not only do you live in the same neighborhood, but you also have a boy. And so, I mean, did this impact your mindset heading in during this training camp?
A little bit, you know, and especially being home. You know, I try to. It helps when I'm leaving to go to the gym because I'm going out of town. I'm not out of town, but I'm going about an hour away from here, so I'm able to refocus when I get to the gym. But you know, just being home, you know, your mind's constantly thinking about it. You know, the choppers. You can hear the choppers flying over above. You know, I left the news on just to, you know, keep track and find any new updates that were going on, because, you know, we were really concerned about him, and we were, you know, hoping that he'd be found. But yeah, it kind of steered my focus away a little bit, but you know, I was still able to get my training sessions in and focus on what I needed to focus on.
Brian Peterson recently had a fight for LFA, and his banner, he had like a fight for AJ type of thing up there. What have you felt from the community as a response to this?
You know what, they just showed their love and support. You know, I remember even Marlena, she went over to their house and dropped off a teddy bear and dropped off flowers and a card and brought Lucas with, you know, just to show their support. And you know, you look at all the telephone poles and light posts, they have light blue ribbons wrapped around for AJ, and then people have signs up everywhere, you know, we love you AJ, or rest in peace AJ. You know, so everyone was really hoping that he would be found, and just horrified to find out the outcome of what happened to him. And you know, that's not this community, that's not this town. You know, Crystal Lake's a very nice place to live in, and you know, it just kind of hit everybody by surprise, because this is a great neighborhood to live in, and it just happened, you know, a few streets over. So it's just mind blowing, because you never know who your neighbors are, and you know, it's just one of those situations where neighbors are scumbags. You know, I don't even know what else to say about it. Just really sad subject.
You just said that Marlena went over back when the boy was lost, when they were hoping to find him, went over to the house and that he was lost from, and gave flowers to them.
Yeah, no,
to the parents.
That's the parents. It was, I want to say it was after the fact that the parents confessed.
Wow. Okay.
They found the kid
right
buried in a shallow grave. Then she went over there to show her support with the rest of the community, and her whole front lawn was filled with teddy bears, flowers, cards, balloons, or just little gifts showing that they care and support AJ. And it's not so much it was for AJ, but also for his younger brother that he has. So yeah, it just shows you the support of the community, the type of community that we live in, and you know, this is a very big family-oriented place. Everybody has kids around here, so it definitely hit home with all the parents and families in this area.
Well, I'll tell you what, nothing is going to make those families and everybody feel more proud at this point than to see a Crystal Lake fighter go get a huge win on May 11th and bring some positivity back into the community. And I know everybody's rooting for you here, and really excited to see you come back and compete back here in your hometown, Pat. Thank you so much for letting us in your beautiful home here, and we're gonna go and check out some of these contraptions that you've built for Lucas for sure. I gotta ask, what does Marlena think about all of that?
Dude, she was sick of it, man. When I first came up with this idea, dude, I thought I was so just obsessed with it too, because there's nothing out there like this. There's no toys you can buy. There's no other products.
Right.
This is a one in a kind. I came up with a gold mine. I'm gonna be rich. We're going to the top, son.
When you posted on Instagram, I was like, this is an invention.
Yeah, I got it patented, and you know, I came up with all the blueprints, drawings, and I actually got a lawyer to start the whole process with it. And you know, I still have a patent pending on it, but as of right now, I kind of switched gears and started putting my focus elsewhere. So there's still a possibility there might something might come of it, but you never know. I mean, I was a little too obsessed with it for a while. I was having a lot of fun with it.
Right.
And Marlena just was sick. She knew what was happening. She saw where this was going. She's like, I want nothing to do with this. Just leave me alone. Don't talk to me about it. No.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, no, she used it too. You know, she every once in a while she'd throw Lucas on it and he'd play, and she saw the benefits of it. So he had fun more so than anything. That was the biggest.
I can see the videos that you're showing. He's using them. He's getting stronger.
Oh yeah. So it's not just the kick swing, but you know, I set up like little obstacles for him. You know, I like pile up pillows. So he loves playing on the pillows. He climbs in the middle, and then he has to work on climbing out. This is before he's even walking, so he's just developing, you know, the crawling stage.
Right.
And you know, he's building up every muscle in his body, you know, trying to get through these pillows.
Okay.
And you know, he just loves it at the same time. You know, just having a ball, laughing, smiling. And then, you know, so yeah, you can pile up the pillows, or you can set them up. I have a hallway right here, so I put just a pillow and space them out every foot, 2 feet apart.
Uh-huh.
And you know, every time he hit a pillow, he has to climb over it, get to the next pillow, and all the way to the very to the end. So
well, you put a little candy at the end or something. Why
no, he likes following you around. You know, you see the pillows, he's like, oh, I gotta go. So that's just a couple of the ideas that I come up with.
That's amazing.
Development overall.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I got this little wall right here that I built for him. It's kind of just like a ladder, you know, like a little, just wall with little pieces of wood that I screwed on, and you know, little by little, he's learning how to reach up for the next piece, and then bring his foot up to the next piece. So I'm teaching him how to climb at an early age, in a sense. Some people might be against it. I'm all for it because I want to see him develop at a quicker rate.
Than you did.
Yeah,
that's what you said, right?
Of course. Yeah, but I just wanted to develop as quick as possible, and you know, you just have to be a responsible and good parent, because you know, now I'm teaching him these things at an early age. He's more likely to fall or hurt himself, so you always gotta keep an eye on him. And he's a very active kid. He's always all over the place. So anytime he walks away or runs away, you have to just gotta get up and follow him and see what he's doing, and just keep a close eye on him.
Father, fighter, inventor, Pat Curran, thank you so much for the time, man. I seriously appreciate it. We will be there as media, so we will see you there on weigh-in day, on fight night, and Godspeed to you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. I definitely enjoyed it. You guys are always welcome to come back. My house.
Oh, we're gonna grab a beer. I'm gonna be swinging by all the time. Now I know where you're at. I'll come find you. I know you had that little basement set up with your mats back down there. Once you get that back, I'll be over to train.
I'll show you guys. Yeah, I'll show you.
My man. Appreciate it, Pat. Thank you, buddy.